Hi, everyone. Rebecca here, the Mind Body Performance Coach for figure skaters. I was sitting in my hotel room this morning thinking, getting ready to write a blog for my newsletter this week. And I thought, well, I had the opportunity to do a video. It's quiet here, and I'm dressed up and ready to go watch the men's free program at the Sprint Center at the U.S. National Championships at 1 p.m. So I thought, why not do a video for you guys? Talking a little bit about some of the things I've been hearing over the weekend, spending the time at the rink and listening to some of the interviews that have gone on with the athletes and the coaches. Some of the themes that have been continuous over the weekend have been around getting in the zone and being able to let go of a past performance, maybe a performance that wasn't so good in the short program, to move into the free program with a fresh mind. I actually heard Meryl Davis talk about that in one of the interviews, saying that it's about kind of washing away the past of the short program and going into the long program or the free program with a really fresh perspective. I think it can be difficult either way, whether you skated your best in the short program and you're up in first, second, or third, or whether you went out and did a disappointing short program. I think that either way, it can affect going into how you go into the free program. Sometimes it's easier, I think, to go into the free program when the short hasn't gone so well and you're ranked lower. That way, you kind of have this sense of feeling that it doesn't matter what you do, you have nothing to lose. You can only go up from here. And then when you think about having a great performance and going into the long program, how do you maintain that consistency? And when you're sitting at the top, there's only room to go down. So I think that either way, it can be a difficult position to sit in. But going back to the idea of getting in the zone, if you use techniques to help you to get in the zone, it doesn't matter where you skated in the short program or how you performed or where you ended up placing, you're going to go into the long with a fresh perspective. I had the quick opportunity to meet Brian Boitano on Friday evening here, and I picked his brain for a second, asking him what was one mental training technique that he used to help him as a young athlete. And he said, without a doubt, it was training to get in the zone. He said that this is still one of those perspectives, one of those techniques that is eluding skaters, right? They're struggling to get in the zone or completely focused in the moment when they're skating. He said that he would often, get stuck in the future, thinking about things that were happening in the future or things that might happen or have happened in the past, that he would get stuck in those zones, and he'd have to bring himself back to staying in the moment or in the zone. He also mentioned that he referred to his negative self-talk, and he gave it a name. He said he called his negative self-talk or his negative voice in his head Murphy, the reason being that, Murphy's Law. So anything that will happen, could potentially happen, will happen. And he was able to sort of disconnect from the negative voice by giving it a name. And I've read about that in books as well. When you give that voice a name, it keeps it sort of separate from you, right? And you can refer to it, but it's not who you are at the core. So separating yourself from the negative voice, I think, is a great idea to help to keep you focused in the positive state and focused in the now. I have a few techniques that I use to help skaters, the skaters I work with privately, to help them to get in the zone, specifically when they're doing their program. Like I said, a lot of skaters will think about what's coming, the jumping pass that's coming, the more difficult jumping pass that's coming, 3 jumping passes in the future, or something, they're going into the flip and they're thinking about the last time they did the flip in the program and they messed it up, right? So they're in the future, they're in the past, they're not in the moment. So what I tell them to do, what I encourage them to do is to use their keywords. So their keywords on the jumps will help to focus them on the jump that they're doing at that moment. So when you're standing in your starting position, the only element you should be thinking about is the first jumping pass or the first spin or the first, the footwork sequence. Whatever is the first element, that's where you want to focus your attention. And in order to focus, to encourage your focus to go there, you can use your keywords. So I encourage them to create, between 1 and 3 keywords for each element. And then they just recite it in their head. So they're going into the first jump, it's a double axel, and they're thinking about the 2 keywords in the double axel. And that's all they're thinking about. So once the element is completed, then it's about detaching from the outcome. So whether it was the best double axel you've ever done or you fell on it, you're detaching from the outcome, you're separating yourself from that outcome, and you're letting it go. Then you're moving on to the next element. And whatever that element is, maybe you're going into a triple sow, you're thinking and reciting the keywords for only the triple sow. You complete the element, you detach from it, detach from the outcome. Maybe it was the best triple sow ever or not so good, detaching from the outcome and letting it go. And you continue on this cycle throughout the whole program. And what happens is you end up taking a 3-minute program that seems initially overwhelming, thinking about 6 jumping passes, 3 spins, a footwork sequence. Thinking about all those elements can be very overwhelming. But by doing this, by dissecting it into its separate parts, you're able to make it less overwhelming and focus your attention on one task at a time. So that's the technique that I use with the skaters I work with. Sorry, I'm shifting here. I'm sitting on the floor so I can get some light from the window. It's very dark in the back, and I only have a very short table. So I'm making it work today. But those are the techniques and the techniques that I use and share with the skaters I work with. And I found it to be really helpful. The skaters I work with have had quite a lot of success using this technique. Now, of course, this is going to be something that you have to practice, right? You can't just go out on the day of competition and do it. This is definitely something that is everyday practice, right? First, it's about coming up with those keywords. If you don't have those keywords, if your skater doesn't have those yet, sit with them. Get them to journal, write in a journal, 1 to 3 keywords for every element in the program. And then practicing them, reciting them, right? Thinking about them, focusing on them, focusing that attention is going to help to make those really useful. And then, then the next part is, of course, being able to detach from the outcome. I think that comes with practice. I think, using like Brian Boitano's idea of separating yourself, your voice from the negative voice in your head, giving that negative voice a name and referring to it as a separate part, that can be helpful too. So I encourage you to, if you're a skater, to start trying using this technique. If you're a coach or a parent, letting your skater watch this video, get the idea, sit with them, encourage them to go through the process. And if you're, if you feel like you'd like to have some help or you'd like to get some help for your skater to do this, then, I'm a great resource for that. I sit with skaters all the time on FaceTime or Skype, and we create these plans. I help to teach them these techniques so that they can use them when they need them out on the ice during competition in that stressful situation. So if you'd like to, maybe look into more of what I do, or send me a message. I'm offering free 30-minute discovery coaching calls right now. It's a great opportunity to see if this is a good fit for you, if my coaching is a good fit for your skater, and if we be able to do some work together. I think that'd be great. So until next time, thank you for watching. Thanks for supporting me. And I look forward to hearing from you. Keep your brain in the game and your focus out on the ice. Take care. Bye.